Is your door strong enough? No, it's not. Now that, I don't think will stop any intruder. Now let's go a little bit closer and have a look why. So as you can see, what they first used was some sort of air vent grill thing which you can literally climb right through. It just crumbled to crap. Not only that, they use 6mm ply. I mean, this stuff, it's great to a degree, but not as a door securing. I mean, that's just too flimsy. I mean, it's crap. So what I'm going to do now is take the door off, get rid of all this gubbins, sand it all down, and actually make a proper job of it. And I'll show you how to do that. But first, let's get this door off. Oh. Right, on first glance on this door, it doesn't actually look all that bad. Yeah, okay, the paint's a bit flaky and it's obviously it looks naff, but it's not actually all that bad, which is nice. Despite this being flimsy and having no strength in it whatsoever, the rest of it is actually quite sturdy. There's no real splitting, there's no... Basically, you're looking for all these joints to see if they're coming apart. And I've got none of that, which is great. I mean, even the glass looks good. I mean, you can see by all these flies here and the cobwebs that they've clearly been holding together at one point. But other than that, it looks alright. So what I'm now going to do is take the hinges off, take all the locks off, take the handles off, also remove this panel, flip over, see what's locked on the other side, basically just rub it all down and see then what the actual wood looks like. Paint can hide a lot of sins. For example, this may look good, but the second you start removing the paint, you then start seeing weaknesses within the wood, i.e. it's all soft and spongy. And if that's the case, it's probably best to go for a new door. But I said, I don't think I have that, so that's why I'm going to take to the next stage. So remove all these bits, sand it all down, and obviously just have that little bit deeper of an investigation on this. So let's get on with it. Right, now this is the bit I do fear the most because this is single pane glass. I don't know how old it is, so it could even be like pre-tempered glass here. So I'm now going to take it out. It's taking some time to clear all the putty off around the window, but I must stress, do take your time if you are going to undertake a job like this. Because if you don't, try and force the glass out, it flexes, it cracks, game over, got to get a new piece of glass. So again, take your time when you're doing it. Yeah, I can't stress that enough basically, but let's get the glass out. Now that is not as much of a pain. Hey! Sorry. Not as much of a pain as I thought it would be. But now what you got to do, you've got to clean all the putty off around the actual glass itself. So Yeah, here's a little trick for you. If stripping paint is not your idea of fun, then I suggest you use some nail polish remover. Usually put it on a cloth or something like that, but I'm just going to pour it with a can. Just let it sit for a bit. Look at that. Just use my finger. Takes it straight off. Now, if you want to, you can buy those fancy paint removers. Or just go down to your local pound shop or bookstore, I don't know where you guys go. Does the same job, if not better. Beautiful. I was going to leave that to sit for a while now. Have a cup of tea. When you're finished cleaning your glass, put it in a safe place. Right, now that the glass is done, which is, to be fair, the hardest bit, the next stage now is to clean up the inside of where the window once sat. So here and here, you now got to remove the old putty. Let's skip this bit. Now that's all done, it's now time to sand. Don't get ear defenders, can be noisy, and a respirator, because obviously the dust. Look at it like this here. Now that side's done, it's time to flip it over and do the same on the other side. And now it's time for take two. Now it's time for take two. I think my dad was the last one to install that door. Silicone everywhere. Now let's wipe all down. Right, and the next stage is to make sure your hole is actually square by using one of these. It's like a multi-square thing, but a normal square would do. Once you have confirmed that the hole is square, and what you're really looking for is any sort of twistiness or the actual door itself is warped. I mean, to be fair, you should have checked that at the beginning, but nonetheless, there's no harm in checking it now. So now that you confirm that it's square, it's now to get your new panel and obviously move that into position and mark it. Now, if you're like me, you're a bit of a tight git and you like reusing stuff which you've had sitting in the garage for some time, and you've got a tiny little wall, then don't worry, because once you secure it in place, it'll be perfectly fine. So let's go move that into place and mark it. Cut one side and then remeasure. And there we are, one cut done. There we are, as quick, as simple as that. That panel is now done. But, I hear you say, but, surely to put the panel in without painting it first, any nooks and crannies that the watermark gets into will rot it with inside. That is a very, very good point. So what we're going to do now, pop that panel out, give it all a coat of paint within, I suppose you call them sockets or the places where that goes, and then obviously then fit it in properly. So let's go get some paint. Make sure it's exterior paint. Now I'm using a high gloss by Dulux. I think it's the best paint company out there. Well, in England anyway. I don't know about anywhere else, but yeah. Don't use that Farrenball crap. That's going to upset some people. Anyway, make sure you stir it. The paint, that is, not you Farrenball lovers. That'll do. Right, let's get some paint on it. Unreal! Somebody tried to call me while I'm mid-filming. Rude! Anyway, so as you can see, I've now painted the inner perimeter of the door. Some areas will need a couple more coats because the paint's really soaking into the wood. But other than that, obviously I'm going to wait till it dry and give another coat. But in the meantime, we now got to go to the door frame and give that a bit of paint as well, because obviously none of it's been painted since on a year dot. So let's get outside and start painting. Right, now that the outside of the frame is painted, we're now back indoors, as you see with the door. Now we're going to fit our panel within the bottom section of the door. But before I do that, I'm going to run a bead of sealant just so it gives that panel something nice just to bed against. That's what we're going to do. Oh, and make sure it's external sealant, because obviously, you know, still an outside door. So we're going to do that. Now it's in place, we can run another bead, obviously on this perimeter here, and I'm going to fit our two. I've got to recycle some of these because I've got enough to make do, as it were. Now that's done, we'll quickly flip her over, clean off the excess from the spillover. Obviously, if you've got some spillover, like I had, I was just filled in these little gaps within the ply. So, yeah, anything to improve it, basically. But now, I'm going to flip it back over. And basically do the same. That's all done. Now the next stage is put the pane in, or the glass. And you've got to use window putty for this. Put a thin bead along the perimeter, or the inside where the glass can sit, and then basically place the glass on there. Obviously, once you place the glass on it, make sure you push the glass down. This is all straightforward and simple. We'll figure it out. When you push the glass down, don't worry about if you've got any spillover on the other side. It's always best to have a spillover because you can always remove it. It's a lot easier than trying to force it back in. Right, now you put your bits back in. Flip it back over, take the excess off. Job was a good one. I'm going to wash my hands because it's all sticky now. But when I come back, I'll be putting the hinges and handles back on, and then obviously fitting it on the actual door. Hinges are back on. Now let's take the door outside and hang it. Those may have noticed that the actual finishing bead, which is there, should be on the inside. But the person who hung this door originally hung it back to front. You obviously meant to have the sealed bit on the outside and the bead on the inside. I'm happy the way it is. As long as it's sealed properly, it's painted properly, there shouldn't really be a problem. But all there is left to do now is just to simply paint it. So that is what I'm going to get on with now and do. I don't think you need to see me paint it, so I'm just going to turn the camera off and just get on with it. But tomorrow is when I'll be seeing you. Wow, doesn't that look so much better now? As you can see, the insert's looking more secure, more substantial. There is no way that is ever going to give way. I mean, obviously it will do in the end if you give it a good enough boot, but that is 10 times stronger than it was at the beginning. As you see, the glass is all nice and cleaned up. It's all got a nice beautiful coat of paint on it. A little trick to the painting If you use exterior gloss like I have, it takes up to 16 hours per coat for it to dry from application. So the little trick is, use a decent undercoat. I've actually used satin wood, which is actually a quick drying coat, so it means you can actually get two coats of paint on the door to seal all the wood. And then once that paint has dried, the next day you can then go over with your top exterior gloss coat. This is exterior gloss, technically it should last longer. And then obviously that finishes off. Now that's only takes 16 hours to dry, so obviously you've got to let it dry before you put your second coat on. But once it's done, wow, what a difference. I mean, it looks so much more better now. Now if you look down here, as you can see, I've now put a deflector on the bottom of the door. That wasn't there originally. So what actually happened is the water would actually run down the face of the door, drop off the bottom of the door, and then the water itself would fall on the inside of the door threshold. So therefore, any rainwater on the outside is now coming in towards the house. So obviously put that on, because then that obviously deflects the water away from the door on the outside of the door threshold, keeping the rainwater where it should be, outside. I've also just reused these door handles. They were the original ones. I don't think they're the nicest, but they do the job at the end of the day. So obviously I put those back on. Naturally, when I clean all the glass up, make sure it's all nice and shiny. It's not going to do all this extra effort and then leaving the glass dirty. Another little trick to how to clean up the glass, real easy, is get yourself a sharp razor blade or Stanley blade, all depends where you are in the world. Cup it within your fingers and just ever so gently slide down the glass, and that should remove any excess paint, and also just tidy up around the edges. I've also reused the locks as well. You can't go wrong by simply having the lock at the top when you're out. Again, the bottom lock, also got the middle lock with your two hinges. That door is, as what we like to say in England, sound as a pound. There's no way you're going to get through that. Well, unless you break the glass, but there's no way you're going to get through that. So that's it. So I hope you liked that video. If you do, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you want to, leave a short comment. I'll be more than happy to get back to you. But more important, don't forget to subscribe, because I've got plenty more great videos, DIY videos. Obviously that's what the channel is about. But hopefully some more fun videos as well along the way for you guys to enjoy. But nonetheless, thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you guys then. See you later.